Chapter 83, Vestiges of a Nightmare. Despite the dozens upon dozens of nightmares Geto had already endured, that moment bridging dreaming and waking, distortion and reality, was always the most difficult part of coming out of it. Geto could still feel Gojo holding him down, forcing himself on him. The pain was real, but the whisper he just heard couldn't have come from the violent man on top of him. His eyes sprang open, and to his dismay, it was still Gojo there. Geto turned away, shattered and shamed. He'd shown Gojo that he'd never be his equal. Gojo had overpowered him in every way possible. Geto was inconsolable at the loss of his own agency and the inability to fight for himself. As Geto's chest heaved, vestiges of the nightmare started to fall away, but the oppression of it clung to his psyche. Even as his eyes refocused and the familiar feel of his mattress and shape of the room began to show itself, Geto didn't quite trust that he was in a safe place and that his violation never happened. He hugged himself, remembering the sharp pain. Gojo listened to Geto sob. He clenched his fists. He wanted to do something, but what? He could still hear Geto's anguished cry from earlier. "No, you're hurting me." Geto's nightmares left traces. Gojo had seen it, one of the reasons why he liked having him near while they slept, so he could help soothe him afterwards. But this didn't sound like a dream about cursed spirits, past missions, or losing a classmate. He had a nagging feeling his touch would be seen as a threat, so he kept his back to Geto, afraid he would reach out and make things worse. Geto started to calm down after a while, and Gojo's fists relaxed. He leaned forward and rested his head in his hands. He heard Geto take some deep breaths and felt the mattress shift as he moved around. Gojo stayed put. Geto stared at the back of Gojo's head, noticed the hunched slope of his shoulders and curve of his neck. His brain told him this wasn't the Gojo who violated him. Gojo could feel Geto's eyes on him. Good. He knows I'm here, in case he needs me. Geto couldn't help himself. He reached out to the hunched form leaning against the bed, but he was too far back to make contact. He let his hand fall to the comforter. Gojo lifted his head and turned towards the sound. Geto's eyes grew big when Gojo looked at him, so he focused on Geto's hand that was close, so close. Gojo rested his arm on the bed, moving his hand slowly and placing his fingertips as near to Geto's as he could without touching. He closed his eyes again and rested his head against the mattress. He started to drift off when he felt Geto's fingers brush his. "That wasn't you who did that to me," he heard Geto whisper. Geto pressed his fingers onto Gojo's and left them there. Gojo didn't move. He stayed like that, fingers entwined, hoping that the incoming dawn would erase the worst of the night.